While the dust has settled on a hectic weekend in college football, week 6 is primed to bring another round of fireworks. The biggest games of the week, Vanderbilt at Alabama and Miami at Florida State, are a pair of top 25 matchups. 6 more ranked teams are hitting the road, and those matchups are liable to produce a surprise or two. And as always, in October, there's a whole lot of conference games. You never know how a result this weekend may shape a tiebreaker in December. Hey there, welcome everybody to the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are maybe awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for NFL Friday. Week 6 of the college football season, coming off of that smorgasbord of a week last week with so many exciting matchups, and it more than lived up to the hype. And this week 6, a big time tough act to follow. But let's see. Without any further ado, let's dive right on in. It's our lightest docket yet. We only have 15 games on the docket. So one game tomorrow, the other 14 on Saturday. So without further ado, let's get into our game that will take place tomorrow night. A 10:30 kickoff on ESPN. The number 23 BYU Cougars at home against the West Virginia Mountaineers from Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah, the home of BYU. ESPN 10:30 tomorrow night. On the call for that game will be Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, and Paul Carcaterra. And BYU opening up as a 19-point favorite. So with that, let's get into our first action of week number 6. Though it's borderline unforgivable that a quarterback wears number 47, Bear Bachmeier has been excellent for BYU this season. He has totaled 860 yards with 10 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. Given that Kansas and Utah outscored West Virginia 89-24 in the last 2 weeks, this game might not be much of one. I got BYU, and I think BYU is going to roll them. 37-14. Give me BYU over West Virginia. So not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Week 6 of this college football Thursday season. And we started off with West Virginia going to number 23 BYU tomorrow night.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, to say the very least. This is one of those games where you got to kind of keep your eye on what's going to happen. But I kind of feel like BYU should win this one. I feel like they are the better team, and I do believe that BYU will get the job done. There's really nothing more to say there. Quick little heads up for all the fans. If you're coming on in, you just seen the Yankees and the Red Sox. Hello, welcome. Great to have you guys. Honor as always. And Anthony, I guess we got some joy in Mudville tonight for the New York Yankees. They knocked out their hated rivals.
I got 2 words for you, MF. Cam Schlittler.
Yes.
Did you see what that kid did tonight?
Domination is all I can say. Domination. What a performance.
If they go far, that kid's going to be the reason.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. They will have a chance to defend their American League championship. But by golly, it's not going to be easy because they gotta go to Toronto.
And Toronto, the number 1 overall seed in the American League, best record, and AL East Division champions.
And very tough at the Sky Dome this season. Very tough.
Yeah, very tough.
One of the best home records, if not the best home record in the American League. So That is going to be a challenge, needless to say. So,
Divisionals are set. We got ourselves a heck of a series. We got Toronto, New York. Over on the other side, we got
Detroit and
Detroit
Seattle.
after they knocked out Cleveland earlier today. They go up against Seattle, who's also divisional champions. Then over on the NL side, we got ourselves an interdivisional matchup: Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs, and I guess you can say that series that we may cover. I don't know. We'll get into it and talk about it. But when you get a heavyweight championship fight in the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies, oh, oh,
Ooh-wee.
yeah, that's gonna be amazing. Nothing more to say, Anthony. It's yours.
It's going to be. We got a chance at an all-time great postseason here. There's no doubt about it. And this is the time of the year that sports fans have waited all year for. And
Oh yeah,
college football, NFL in full swing. We just started the baseball playoffs. We just got through the wild card series. Now we're on to the division series starting on Saturday. And then this Tuesday, the return of the NHL.
yes. Triple
Including
header on ESPN to jump it off too.
Including our New York Rangers, MF.
Yes.
With our new coach, Mike Sullivan, going up against his former team, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
In Madison Square Garden.
Mm.
Whereas the Boston Bruins will be heading to Washington against the Capitals on Wednesday. So, and then 2 weeks after that, we got the return of the NBA. So,
what a time to be a sports fan, folks. What a time to be a sports fan.
Lord, hang on here. That's all I can say. So, we're going to have some fun, boy. We got some big fun coming up. So, I'm very happy about the Yanks, no doubt about it. But I do want to send out a shout out and a congratulations to all of our dear friends in our group outing crew. Most notably, Michael Bullock and the Keenans, Mike and Brian Keenan. I know it's not the result you boys wanted, but hell of a series, guys. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You just ran into a 24-year-old rookie buzzsaw who started his season in Double-A, mind you. So, what a story. That kid Cam Schlittler started his season in Double-A. And he just pitched the game of his freaking life. So, outstanding. So, all right. So, and we also have a Thursday night football game to keep an eye on, a good one too.
Oh yeah, I'm on it.
And the Los Angeles Rams 2020. So, wowie wow. That's all I can say. So, all right, so I don't know what else there is to say except let's move on to the Saturday slate of this week 6 in college football. I believe we have 4 games in the noon window. Yep, 4 in the noon window, and we started off with an SEC battle. They'll go down on ABC. The now number 12 Made in Georgia Bulldogs, once again at home at Sanford Stadium in the Hedges. And they're going to be welcoming the Kentucky Wildcats to Athens. 12 noon on ABC. And on the call for that one will be the voice of Monday Night Raw, Mr. Joe Tessitore, alongside of Jesse Palmer and Katie George. And Georgia opening up as a 20.5-point favorite. And MF, for Georgia, needless to say, this is a get-right game for them against Kentucky after they got their hearts ripped out by Bama, snapping their 33-game home winning streak. First home loss since 2019. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. That was we were going into it, we were thinking, Georgia at the Hedges, There's no way they're losing that game, will they? And unfortunately, on that night, they were upended. They were taken down, and yeah, it was a shocking turn of events. But Georgia now going up against Kentucky, I feel a little more confident in this one. Georgia's probably going to be playing very inspired and very angry, to say the very least. So I think Georgia's going to bounce back. They'll get this win here, and this should be the turnaround and the get back for them. So that's all I'm going to say. Give me Georgia to win it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, it's Georgia. No doubt about this one. Just let me find it here. All right. Last weekend, South Carolina held Kentucky to 232 yards at 3.9 a snap. Perhaps it doesn't get worse at Georgia, but there's simply no way that we're trusting the Kentucky offense to keep the Cats competitive in Athens. Georgia should roll in this one. 31-10. I got Georgia all over Kentucky, bouncing back from that gut-wrenching loss to Bama. So, which snapped a 33-game home winning streak for the maiden Georgia Bulldogs. First home loss in 6 years. That's wild. So, all right, moving on to our next matchup. One of the sleeper games of the week. This will be over on ESPN2. The number 14 Iowa State Cyclones on the road against the Cincinnati Bearcats from Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. You can find this over on ESPN2. It'll be Roy Philpott, Sam Acho, and Taylor Davis. And believe it or not, Cincinnati opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. Okay, a little surprising there. Actually, a slight underdog on the road, Iowa State is aiming to continue its perfect start to the season. Cincinnati has been quietly competitive so far. A needed jolt for Coach Scott Satterfield on a hottish seat behind dual-threat quarterback Brendan Sorsby. But I'm still taking Iowa State because of its all-around stability. But Cincinnati has a great opportunity to announce itself as a threat in the Big 12. I'm going with Iowa State to eke it out. 23-19. Iowa State should get out of Cincinnati with a win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cincy pulls the upset. So 23-19, Iowa State wins. MF, Iowa State, trap game and an upset alert for them, I believe.
Yeah, Iowa State definitely in an upset alert. I don't know about trap game, but I do know Cincinnati is a good team. They're sneaky good, but I'm with you. I'm giving Iowa State the credit here, and I think that they're going to win this game too. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. All right. I believe it's only fitting that when it comes to this next game, MF, you lead it off, as it will be Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Oops, wrong button. And then it's Big Noon Saturday on Fox, featuring MF, good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullocks, number 20 Michigan Wolverines back at home at the Big House, Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, and they're going to be welcoming the Wisconsin Badgers to the Big House. Big Noon Saturday on Fox. You know who it is. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Michigan opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. So, MF, your Wolverines back at home after that big win against Nebraska. I'll be honest, I had a little bit of some doubt, but you did it, and they went into Lincoln. They got it done. Now they go home and host Wisconsin. Big Noon Saturday on Fox in the Big House. How about that?
Yeah, and in this game, you kind of feel like Michigan should win this game. Wisconsin has not been as great as they've been in recent years. They're going to pose a little bit of a threat to Michigan, give them a little bit of some headaches early on. But once Bryce Underwood gets his feet under him, because he's such an explosive quarterback, he'll figure it out. And once he does, this Michigan team should be humming enough, and they will get the job done. I got Michigan winning this game, so Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. I got to go with Michigan as well. Okay. Wisconsin similarly has dealt with major offensive woes. Billy Edwards Jr. is dealing with a knee injury, which he aggravated in a brief return last week. No matter whether he plays or not, Michigan is comfortably the pick. I got Michigan winning this game as well. 27-10, Michigan over Wisconsin. So with that, we move on to our final 12 noon game. And we stay in the Big Ten. And we go to the Big Ten Network for this one, as it will feature the number 22 Illinois Fighting Illini on the road against the Purdue Boilermakers. Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. Big Ten Network will be the home of this one, and on the call for that will be Mark Followell and Yogi Roth. And Illinois opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. After an emotional last-second win over USC with top-ranked Ohio State looming next week, there is real danger for Illinois in a trip to Purdue. I'm not ready to trust the Purdue defense that has yielded 89 points to USC and Notre Dame. But the hangover / look-ahead combo for the Illini is reason for hesitation. But I do believe Illinois should pull it out. My final score is going to be 31-24. Illinois should escape West Lafayette, Indiana with a win over Purdue. And MF, what Illinois cannot do, they simply cannot look past Purdue, because we all know Illinois, they're thinking about the champs next week.
Yeah, and the thing is that they want to make a statement. They know they're a team there that can really do something really special here. And there is a very good possibility we could see them make a run here. Like you said, you gotta stay focused and get the job done. Illinois is the better team. They should win this game as long as they don't look past Purdue. Purdue is, like you said, defensively they're all right. Offensively is where the problem lies. So yeah, give me Illinois to win this one, Anthony. Move on.
And we move on to the 3:30 games. And this time around, we got 5 of them. And we started off with another one of your favorite teams, MF. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We started off with yet another Big Ten matchup. It's also which also happens to be the Big Ten on CBS. Oh, by the way, the now number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions on the road against the UCLA Bruins, and you know what that means, MF.
Yes.
Where are we going?
To one of the most legendary football places in all of college football. It is basically, they call it the Run for the Roses. It is the Rose Bowl. It's Pasadena. There's nothing more like it.
That's, if you haven't been watching our shows all these years, if you're a first-time watcher, viewer, what have you, you'll know that the Rose Bowl, I mean, it's special to all of us, but to good old MF Michael Fletcher, that's a damn near cathedral. That's like holy ground, if you really think about it.
Mm.
We know how much you love that Rose Bowl, MF, because of the Rose Bowl game and the whole 9. But yes, the number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions on the road, going to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to take on the UCLA Bruins as part of the Big Ten on CBS. And you already know who's working that, as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Jenny Dell. And Penn State opening up as a 24.5-point favorite. NMF. Oh my goodness. What a game against Oregon last Saturday night. You were thinking whiteout. You were thinking they had the advantage. Eric Carrier and Oregon, they were not having it. And Oregon stole it in double overtime. And Penn State, 24.5-point favorite on the road at UCLA. Oh, UCLA, you're in for a long day because them boys are pissed, and
Yeah,
it's not going to be just, it's more than a get right game.
yeah, they feel like they let one get away. If you look at the stats, if you look at the game, if you look at how they played, a lot of people are going to turn around and they're like, "Wow, how did Penn State lose this? How did that get away from them?" And Oregon answered back. They did not give up. They did not relent. They came back, fought like heck, and they won the game. And now, poor Penn State is thinking, now we got to go out west. Now we got to go to Pasadena. Now we got to go and play UCLA. And the thing is that UCLA is not a great team. They're an okay team. But Penn State's thinking, we just got our hearts ripped out. Now we got to go out west. So that's a long trip in itself. The one thing I would be a little concerned about is where's the mindset of Penn State? Now, I know they're going to win this game. I'm confident enough about that. But I cannot believe I'm about to say this, Anthony, but I would say this is a trap. And I could even go as far to say maybe upset alert because of everything that happened from the demoralizing loss. And now you're going on the road out west. So that's the one thing I would be a little concerned about. I'm not concerned that Penn State's going to win. I'm just a little concerned that it's not going to be a blowout or this convincing win like the experts are calling for. I think this might be another one of those close escapes, close victories type thing for Penn State. I hope I'm wrong, but just the way it's going, it's just got me a little on edge. Let's say that. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. The most helpful piece of this matchup for UCLA is that Penn State is taking a cross-country flight. That is something, but I'm sorry, UCLA is a disaster. They're 0-4 on the season, and Penn State, they're going to come guns blazing. No doubt about it. So, yes, MF, your reason for concern is valid, absolutely, and I will give you that. But you said it. The experts have Penn State rolling in this one, and I'm with the experts on this one. Penn State should win this one rather comfortably, 37-17. Not a faraway blowout, but a comfortable win for Penn State. 37-17, Penn State over UCLA. And with that, we move on. Okay, we move on to our next 3:30 matchup. ESPN will have this one. We go to the SEC, and it'll feature the number 9 Texas Longhorns on the road against the Florida Gators from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. Games on ESPN, and on the call for that one will be Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, and Chris Budden. And the spread, if I can get to it. Okay. The spread favors Texas. Texas opening up as a 5.5-point favorite in this one. Yeah. So, tell you what, I mean, the bright side for a reeling Florida team is the defense has been stellar. LSU and Miami both struggled to pull away despite controlling the game. The bad news is Texas's defense is probably better. Anything can happen in a low-scoring slog, yet it might not seem like the Gators have much of a chance either. I'm going with Texas to win this one. My final score, 24-10. Give me Texas over Florida. All right, MF is stepping away for needs to step away for a moment, so he'll be back with us in just a moment. So, but yeah, just let me know when you're back in, MF, and then we'll get your thoughts on the Texas and Florida matchup. But I'll tell you what, I mean this game between Texas and Florida, when the schedule came out, this looked like an intriguing matchup. It looked like an appetizing matchup, but Florida has not been the same since they got upset by I believe it was South Florida who upset them, and ever since that game, they haven't really looked the same. And Texas, they did stumble at Ohio State in the opener, but since then, over the last month or so, they've played much better. Arch Manning has gotten better, and the defense looking great for Texas. And this is going to be the toughest defense that Florida will face this season. And even though it's in the swamp, yes, it's in the swamp at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, but I still think Texas is the better team in this one. I do believe that the Longhorns will hook the Gators and keep their winning ways going, and they're going to want to keep their winning ways going because let's not forget, in a good, week or two, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, one of our favorite games of the college football season is coming. And you know what that game is. The Red River. Matter of fact, it's actually next week. It's next week. So get ready. Next Saturday, we got Red River coming next week. And I do believe that's going to be the game of the week. Unless there's another matchup. All right, MF is back in. So I'll run it back real quick. When it comes to Texas and Florida, the bright side for a reeling Florida team is the defense has been stellar. LSU and Miami both struggled to pull away despite controlling the game. The bad news is Texas's defense is probably better. And anything can happen in a low-scoring slog, yet it might not seem like the Gators have much of a chance either. I'm going with Texas to win. My final score is 24-10. Texas defeats Florida in the swamp. But Texas, don't look past Florida. And I say that, MF, because next week,
Red River rivalry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I saw that. I saw that too, because a couple of my buddies were mentioning about that game. So yes, I definitely know Red River is right around the corner, and you know how that goes. I'm with you. I got Texas winning this game. Florida, I don't know, man. I just don't see. I haven't seen anything like it. I just feel like I feel like Florida is just they're just reeling. They're not. They're an okay team. Texas is a team that's poised and ready to make a run at the title. So there's really nothing more for me to say here. Give me Texas to win it. Anthony, next game.
MF, it's the first half of our double main event. We have a double main event this week, and this is the first game of it. In the SEC, this is a proverbial David versus Goliath situation. Number 10, representing, Goliath. The number 10 Alabama Crimson Tide at home at Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. And they're welcoming David in the form of the now number 16 Vanderbilt Commodores. ABC will have this game, and on the call, it will be Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, and Molly McGrath. Alabama opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. MF, like I said, it's David versus Goliath. Bama, the big bad team, coming off their biggest win in quite some time, going into Georgia and stealing that game. And Vanderbilt, out of nowhere, 5-0. They got tested a bit last week by Utah State, but they ultimately put them away at the end. But now, this is the biggest game for Vanderbilt football in I can't remember how many years, maybe even ever. Vanderbilt at Alabama. David versus Goliath. What do you think?
Yeah, David versus Goliath, no doubt about it. Look, Vanderbilt, a lot of people, they kind of cannot believe that this team is that good. They cannot believe they're that close. And at the end of the day, I don't know what to even think about it, but I'll say this. This is going to be one of those type of matchups where we got to see how it plays out. We got to see how it looks. Bama's definitely the favorite. Bama should win this game. But I would not be stunned or I would not be surprised if we see an upset and Vanderbilt wins it. They could win this game. There's no doubt in my mind. They can win this. At the end, we'll wait and see how it plays out. There's nothing more to say, Anthony. Bama is most likely going to win it, but Vanderbilt is going to make this very interesting, to say the very least.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've learned by now to never count out Diego Pavia in a college football game. The Vanderbilt quarterback led his team to an upset over Alabama last year. The Commodores also played Texas and Missouri close. Winning in Tuscaloosa is a whole other beast to conquer. That might be too much to achieve, even for someone with no fear like Pavia. Alabama has had the look of a national title contender since dropping its opener at Florida State. The Crimson Tide started fast and held on at Georgia last week and could ride that wave of momentum into Saturday afternoon. Alabama typically blows out Vanderbilt, and while that may not be the case in 2025, the Crimson Tide are rolling right now, and it'll be difficult for Diego Pavia and company to stay within single digits. Alabama made a national statement with a win at Georgia, but Vanderbilt is looking for the same. Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia has been one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the country this season, and Bama knows firsthand how dangerous he can be after losing at Vanderbilt last year. While I am not expecting a repeat, Alabama is still perfect at home, and Coach Kalen DeBoer's tenure, this is a fascinating narrative game. I could see this being close into the fourth quarter, but I think that's when Bama puts it away and pulls away. I got Alabama winning this game, but by golly, Vanderbilt's not going to make it easy. 41-27, Alabama over Vanderbilt. And what I believe is going to be an exciting game. Moving on to our next 3:30 game. It's my team, the number 21, Notre Dame Fighting Irish at home at Notre Dame Stadium. Excuse me. Number 21, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're back at home at Notre Dame Stadium. And they're going to be welcoming the Boise State Broncos to South Bend. And on the call for that game, it's on NBC, of course. And you know who's working that? Dan Hicks, Jason Garrett, and Zora Stevenson. Notre Dame opening up as a 20.5-point favorite. Needless to say, unless Ashton Gianti walks through that door, this is Notre Dame. As long as Notre Dame's defense, isn't a Siev, the offense should carry the Irish. The backfield of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price is thriving, and CJ Carr is improving by the week. Boise State does have plenty of firepower, but a high-scoring shootout is not what the Broncos want to see in South Bend. Like I said, if Ashton Gianti was walking through that door, they would most certainly have a chance. But I got to go with Notre Dame to win this one. They've got their mojo back after those two gut-wrenching losses at Miami and then that most demoralizing loss at home against Texas A&M. They have bounced back in a big way. They smashed Purdue. They went into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and made themselves literally at home when they smashed Arkansas 56-13. And I think they keep it up. So I got Notre Dame winning this one comfortably, 45-24. Notre Dame over Boise State, make it 3 in a row after that 0-2 start. And MF, I believe we saw this movie last year. Slow start, but they have turned on the burners. 56 points in back-to-back games, and I don't see them slowing down. 45-24, Notre Dame all over Boise. So, MF, can the Irish keep it up? I say yes.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they finally found their stride, and I think they found what they needed it to find. Like you said, to turn it up. So yeah, I got them winning this game as well. Notre Dame should win this one pretty comfortably. Nothing more to say. Florio, what's yours?
And a little fun fact: Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr, the grandson of Lloyd Carr, former Michigan coach.
Yes,
that's his grandson. So we got some royalty on our team here. So he started slow, but I've loved what I've seen from him over the last few weeks. So last couple of weeks, actually, against Purdue and Arkansas. So let's see what happens. Anywho, I do believe that concludes well, actually, no, we have one more 3:30 game to address from the ACC. And it will and this will be over on ESPN2. The number 24, yes, you heard me, the number 24 Virginia Cavaliers on the road against the Louisville Cardinals. L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium in Louisville. This one's on ESPN2. Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison, and Dawn Davenport on the call. And Louisville opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. Yeah. So MF, this is needless to say, this might be the toughest game to call right here. Virginia at Louisville. Louisville 4-0, off to a great start. Well, let's not forget Virginia coming off of that major upset over Florida State last Friday night, that 46-38 double overtime shootout, which you and the Port Authority of Stampedes, Mr. Scott Van Pelt, considered it one of the greatest, if not the greatest, field storm in history.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't even know what to even say about that storming. It was without a doubt. It was epic. I've never seen anything of that kind of scale in my day. Normally, you get like a slow trickle, or you get a little bit at a time, and then later on you'll get the full. Like you'll see some of them roll through, like run in at the very beginning, and then you get a full. Then it gets a little more full. And no, this was from the minute go. You saw everybody just flying out. So it was wild. That was without a doubt the biggest storming of the field I've ever seen in my life. Louisville is undefeated, and I think this is why I think a lot of people got Louisville winning this game, because they're at home. If this was in Virginia, I think the pendulum would go the other way. Yes, it was a big win for them, an emotional win. If you're a Virginia fan, it was a very emotional win. That was highly driven. Can they turn that around? Can they turn that into something even more special? I don't know. I'm gonna go with Louisville, but again, not 100% confident in this pick, Anthony. Like you said, this is a tough game to call. I'm going Louisville, but I'm not 1,000% sure about this one.
Deserved kudos to Virginia for an upset of Florida State and leaping into the top 25. But Louisville, in my estimation, MF, is wildly overlooked right now. Coach Jeff Brom has a balanced offense and a pesky, turnover-happy defense. Virginia has issues on defense that Louisville is very likely and probably going to exploit. I'm going to call for the upset. I'm going to go with Louisville. I think Louisville pulls it off. My final score 38-27. Louisville defeats Virginia on Saturday. So with that being said, hold on here, let me just see this. And the 49ers and the Rams are going to overtime. They hit Cardi hits the field goal, 23 up. We're going to OT, very likely. 2 seconds left. I think it's needless to say we're going to OT in this one. All right, so that concludes the 3:30 games, and now let's get into our lone 4 o'clock game, which features the number 5. Yes, you heard me. The now number 5 Oklahoma Sooners back at home at the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman. And they're going to be welcoming the Golden Flashes of Kent State. You can find this game, you can find this game over on the SEC Network with Dave Neal and Fozzie Whitaker. Oklahoma opening up as our biggest favorite of the week. Oklahoma opening up as a 45.5 point favorite. 45.5 for Oklahoma. If there's ever a time for your Heisman contending quarterback to undergo hand surgery in the middle of the season, it's during an off week followed by a game against the worst FBS team in the country over the last 2 years. Lock of the week, Oklahoma, all over Kent State. 59-7. Oklahoma all over Kent State. Nothing more to say. MF, Boomer Sooner for the Sooners before Red River next week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Oklahoma should win this game. They'll win this one pretty comfortably. Nothing more to say. Anthony, go.
Primetime games. We have a 7 o'clock game to get into first. And it will feature 7 p.m. on ESPN. It's the number 11, the now number 11 Texas Tech Red Raiders on the road against the Houston Cougars. TD ECU Stadium in Houston. And on the call for this game will be Dave Patch, Dusty Dvoracek, and Taylor McGregor. And Texas Tech opening up as an 11.5 point favorite. Theme of the week so far, MF, upset alerts. And if there was ever an upset alert, this is damn sure an upset alert. Texas Tech at Houston, both undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, upset alert, no doubt about it. Texas Tech and Houston, it can go a number of different ways. I think we're gonna get the upset. I think it's gonna happen. So give me Texas Tech to knock off Houston. I just feel like this could, like you said, upset alert definitely, and I think it's gonna happen. So nothing more to say, Florio. It's yours.
Very possible. Very possible. Will Hammond looked good in relief for Texas Tech at Utah, but Baron Morton is healthy after leaving that win. Morton will be key to steadying the Red Raiders against a thorny Houston defense, one ceding just 4 yards a snap. Houston's offensive upside is shaky, though, but I'm keeping the pick in Tech's favor. So I respectfully disagree with you, MF. I'm going with Texas Tech to win this one. My final score, 27-20, Texas Tech ekes it out over Houston. We got 3 games left, all 7:30 kickoffs. Starting it off with Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. The number 1 team in all the land, your reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes, back at home at the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium in Columbus. And they're going to be welcoming the Golden the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. 7:30, Big Ten Saturday night, NBC. You already know who's working that. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, and Catherine Tappan. And Ohio State opening up as a 23.5 point favorite. So far, nobody has managed to hang double-digit points on Ohio State. Hang the banner, Minnesota. You might be the first, but we'll see. I think they will, but it's still going to be it's not even going to be close to enough. I got Ohio State winning this one comfortably, 38-10. Ohio State all over Minnesota on Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. Not much more to say. MF, should be a nice little tune-up for Ohio State before that scrappy Illinois team squares off with them next week.
Yeah, I'm confident with that too. I got the Buckeyes winning as well. Really nothing more to add. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
With all due respect to the Vanderbilt-Alabama game, MF, this next game, our second to last game on the night, this is the main event right here. The main event, as far as I'm concerned. A good OMF Michael Fletcher special if there ever was one. And it's the ABC Saturday night game of the week. Out of the ACC, the number 3 Miami Hurricanes on the road against the now number 18 Florida State Seminoles. Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. A game of this magnitude, there's only one crew who can do it. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe. Oh, by the way, this game is also going to be, there's also going to be an alt cast of this game over on the ACC network. A panel. There's going to be a panel led by the beautiful Taylor Tannenbaum, alongside of former Florida State head coach Jimbo Fisher, Eric McLean, and Eddie Royal. So ACC Network, Altcast, 7:30. Tune in to see that panel. But for those of us who want to watch the game, ABC with Chris and Herbie, and Miami opening up as only a 4.5 point favorite, 4.5 for the U. MF, it's only fitting you lead it off on this one on what is, I believe, with all, like I said, all due respect to Vandy and Bama, this is the main event right here. Miami, Florida State. Needless to say, you know this rivalry better than anybody.
Yeah, this one has always stayed. This was always one of the biggest rivalries in college football, going back to the days of the Big East. In the 1980s, the late 1980s, early 1990s, these were the perennial powerhouses. Florida State and Miami, the U, were perennial powerhouses back then. Miami's trying to get back to that world and be one of those power teams. Florida State just a few years ago was actually undefeated and possibly going for a national championship. And then we all remember what happened. Despite them winning the ACC and the whole 9 yards, they got left out by the committee. So, I mean, Florida State was on the path, and they were a top 10 team until Virginia upended them and knocked them off the perch. And Miami so far has had, they've had some signature wins, including the big win over Notre Dame on opening week at the Hard Rock. So I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. This has always been one of those battles where it can go a number of different ways. I think I'm going to go with Miami on this one. I just think they're going to have just enough to get by Florida State. This could be one of those one-score games that it's always been. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be unbelievable. I got Miami winning. Anthony, it's yours.
Do you see another wide left or wide right in this one?
Oh, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think Miami is gonna get enough where I don't think we're gonna get wide left, wide right. I don't think it's gonna come down to a field goal. I think Miami wins this, but I think they're gonna win it by at least a touchdown.
Okay, fair enough. Florida State comes into Saturday's biggest game with more to prove than Miami. The Seminoles are coming off a road double overtime loss to Virginia last Friday night that dashed their national championship expectations. The best way for FSU to get back into the playoff mix is to beat Miami at home in front of a national audience. Quarterback Thomas Castellanos is more than capable of leading the Seminoles to an upset win at home. He did just that in week 1 against Alabama. For FSU to truly have a chance, it needs to tighten up the defensive shortcomings it experienced against Virginia. The Seminoles gave up 46 points and 440 total yards. Miami will run all over the FSU defense if it puts up similar numbers this week. The Hurricanes should be favored because quarterback Carson Beck looks like a Heisman contender, and their defense has only allowed 46 points total in 4 games. 5 of Miami's 7 regular season losses in the last 2 years have come on the road. Carson Beck was brought in to help fix some of those issues, and if he does, Miami can win the game. However, it's hard not to back the underdog to at least keep it close. Castellanos is one of the best gamers in the sport, and he should at least have FSU in the contest when it hits the fourth quarter. This really is the toughest game to call right here. This literally goes either way. The same question faces any Miami opponent. Can you handle what the Canes send out up front? The offensive line is relentless, and the D-line is powerful. If the Noles can bait Carson Beck into a couple of mistakes, they'll be dangerous. The physicality of this Miami roster may be overwhelming, though. Could go either way, but I got to go with UMF. I got to go with MF on this one. I got to go with Miami. I think they'll steal it. 27-20, Miami defeats Florida State in the game of the week. 1 game left on the docket. 7:30 kickoff over on the SEC network. The number 6 Texas A&M Aggies at home at Kyle Field in College Station. And they're going to be welcoming the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And this will be over on the SEC network with the A team, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik. And Texas A&M opening up as a 15.5 point favorite. Before this season is over, Mississippi State looks like it could pick off a ranked SEC opponent at home. 3 more opportunities should await the Bulldogs there. On the road at Kyle Field, though, is a different story. Texas A&M leans on the Marcel Reed-led offense to stay unbeaten. Texas A&M wins. It'll be close for a few quarters. I believe this could go into the fourth, but I think Texas A&M will pull away. Texas A&M wins 38-24 over Mississippi State. Nothing left to say. Take us home, MF.
Yeah, I got A&M winning as well. I think it's gonna be one of those, Anthony, like you said, probably a little drama early on, but at the end they'll get the job done. A&M wins. Oreo, it's yours.
And with that, that'll put the bow on this week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night for the week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We will recap the 49ers and the Rams, and we'll get into all the other matchups of week number 5. We start the bye weeks this week, and we'll get into all the other games, like I said. And then from there, Saturday night, Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have it. Braves Fan 95. We got TNA Impact. The second to last show before Bound for Glory. And then Friday Night SmackDown, of course. And then from there, excuse me. All right. Yeah, that's going to be TNA Impact and Friday Night SmackDown on Saturday. And then Tuesday, we have Ridiculously Raw. We have Monday Night Raw. And, of course, the big NXT versus TNA Showdown show. Preview of Thursday Night Football next week, which is the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. And then 1 week from tonight, the Week 7 edition of College Football Thursday. And guess what? I think we got another smorgasbord on our hands here. Alabama and Missouri. Ohio State and Illinois. A sneaky good matchup with Pittsburgh and Florida State. Oh, my goodness. This week is insane. This is an insane week. Look at this. Bama, Missouri, Ohio State, Illinois, Georgia and Auburn, Red River, Oklahoma and Texas, Indiana and Oregon. Are you for real here? Whoa. Look at the schedule next week. Indiana, Oregon, and Michigan and USC in the Coliseum?
Mm-hmm.
Smorgasbord. That's all I'm saying. Happy Columbus Day weekend, friends. That's all I'm going to say. You thought we had fun tonight? Oh, we're going to have even bigger fun next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Week 5 edition of NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, our First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up what you for style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night, for the Week 5 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, you've been watching the Week 6 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long, and bye, everybody. Bye.